Hi everyone, welcome to yet another RC practice session by Rodha. Today I'll be picking a test that we do on the portal. So it says this theme in Rashi that bringing newness into the world and securing the right to freedom of expression both is referring to bringing newness into the world and securing the right. Both require challenging traditional assumptions about textual purity because things keep on changing. Testifies. So the theme is the main subject, testifies is the verb here. This theme testifies to the real world implications of current efforts in textual scholarship to represent text, not as authoritative repositories of sacrosanct wisdom, but as fluid conveyors of ever shifting intentions and meanings, right? So what are we trying to say here is that theme testifies to the real world implications of current efforts in textual scholarship is that the text that have been coming from time immemorial are not necessarily authoritative sacrosanct wisdom, but they are fluid, and fluid refers to here what? Ever shifting intentions and meaning. That means there is a change in what the text says, right? Let's go to the second paragraph. It says, in the fluid text, Bryant theorizes a concept he calls textual fluidity. So this is going to be an important word that encompasses many of the changes, volatilities involved in the evolution and transmission of ideas through language overall period of time. And thus I argue corresponds with Rushdie's notion of the mechanism that make novelty possible. So he's assuming that textual fluidity involved in the evolution and transmission of ideas, they change through language, and therefore novelty is a possibility. Bryant defines a fluid text as any literary work that exists in more than one version, where the versions flow from one to another, changing. And he stresses that all works, because of the nature of text and creativity, are fluid text. All works, right? Because of the nature of text and creativity. So he's assuming text change because they flow from one place to another, and there is a creativity involved there. Since many readers and critics have resisted this truth, so they fundamentally believe that they are not necessarily fluid text, Bryant argues that highlighting textual fluidity should be an imperative for scholarly editors. All should be an imperative. This shows that the tone is going to be slightly strict here. The third paragraph here is, we cannot edit the fluidity away. So he's making a case for fluidity again. He writes, in fact, we are obliged to edit it into existence to showcase it for readers. So he's pushing the responsibility on writers, editors, and to help readers pleasurably read it so that they're better equipped to comprehend its reality and to make of it what they will. This exhortation, this compulsion, reflects the moral necessity of revealing how fluidity shapes not only literary works, but also ourselves, our lives, and our culture. The fluid text crystallizes us for the fact of change, and no other factor in our lives contributes to so much fear, joy, and anxiety as change. If we can come more to grips with the fluidities of language and the writing process, which is he trying to push, elements so vital to our existence even, it stands to reason that we can prepare ourselves for better understanding social change. So he's saying more the understanding of fluidity in text, you could probably have a better understanding of social change. So he's being very, very strong, very, very fundamentally supportive towards fluid. Let's look at the next paragraph. So it says, Bryant's arguments provides a useful theoretical basis for understanding the dynamics of what I'll describe using his terminology as textual fluidity in Rushdie. This article focuses on Rushdie's deployment of such fluidity in his shaping of his 1994 short story collection East-West. It analyzes selected examples of his revisions. There is a revision by comparing the text of the volume's first 6 stories as they appear to their earlier published versions. So we're trying to find out if there were changes, and also by examining unpublished typescripts and proofs relating to East, West in the Salman Rushdie papers at Emory University. And let's look at this paragraph. Since this archive opened in 2010, researchers have been able to study Rushdie's notes, drafts, proofs, emails, and other materials. However, few scholars, almost null, to date have drawn on the archive, and nobody to my knowledge has used it to study Rushdie's revision habits at length. By tracing the evolution of his stories through multiple versions, you could see whether they have changed, and considering his revisions in light of his conception for East-West as a whole, we learn, important line, that Rushdie employs textual fluidity as both a multivalent literary motif and an empowering compositional strategies often in ways that function together to expand the work's interpretive possibilities, giving rise to novelities maybe, and yield a deeper understanding of the fluidities not only of language but also of concepts vital to identify for him. This is about Rushdie, right? And his characters, especially East-West culture and race. So the paragraph is more about fluidity, how we should be employing fluidity in terms of understanding the social context, the culture that we live through. And the author has said that we do not give it very much of importance and we should be giving it. Let's go to the first question. Which one of the following statements best captures the main argument of the last paragraph of the passage? For Rushdie, dynamism of literature yields editorial as well as philosophical power over his novel creation. So if you go back to the last paragraph, it says Rushdie employs textual fluidity as both a multivalent literary motive and an empowering compositional strategy, right? Often in ways that function together to expand the work's interpretive and yield a deeper understanding. So if you look at this, option number A is a very strong option that I can keep on hold because it results in interpretive abilities. For Rushdie, literature and its flow, dynamism of literature, probably dynamism of literature is crucial to build up universal markers. He's not said that. For Rushdie, the flow of English is what makes him connect his experience. No, it's the dynamism of literature. For Rushdie, the concept race, culture, identity is linked with his approach to editing. Not really, that is not what he's saying. So overall the answer here is option number A. So overall is A. Let's go to the next question. All of the following statements, if true, could be seen as supporting the arguments in the passage except. So out of these four options, I am trying to find out three options that will end up acting as support. Textual authority with regards to meaning in contemporary scholarship has been placed under scrutiny. This is true because he wants that. The showcasing of volatility involved in the process of writing to the reader should be an editorial compulsion, imperative. Remember, he was saying that it is not being given enough value and it should be. So this is also supporting. The editor must be aware of their responsibility towards upholding the interpretive quality of a text. The author was saying we need to do it. The reader needs to know and that is our responsibility. A reader must be made aware of the editor's role, or is it about editor's responsibility? It's about editor's responsibility. So this is definitely not supporting and therefore the answer here would be option number D, right? Good question in fact. Let's look at this question. Which of the following statements, if false, could be seen as best supporting the argument in the passage? Okay, so trying to find a weakener here. Rushdie was revolutionizing the concept of proofreading one's own text using textual fluidity theories. This is true. The author and their concept of the text is held reverentially by contemporary, or they're being discarded. So this is an option I can keep on hold for now. Bryant is focused on the moral aspect of textual editing. He was saying that, if you remember, the reader's response to an author's attempt at transmitting is key to fluidity, and therefore he was saying that author should be attempting it. This is also being given. This is also probably one of the strengtheners, and therefore the answer here would be option number B. Because of the word reverentially, you need to look at this word very, very carefully. Let's go to the last question. Based on the passage, we can infer that the author would be most supportive of which one of the following statements? Archiving and accessing an author's paraphernalia is crucial for advancement of scholarship. Scholarship studies. If you look at how Rushdie was being cited, this is one option that you could keep on hold, right? Where does he come from? His emails, his notes were examined. Editors cannot let amateurs access the revisions an author makes before finalizing a text. I am not really sure if amateurs were being talked about here. Is eliminated. Rushdie's definition of race, culture, identity and geographical positioning is absolute. This is a clear problem. The spontaneous of Rushdie's textual structure is down to his use of textual fluidity as a compositional strategies. The spontaneous was not down to his. I don't think so. This was being shown, and therefore the answer here would be option number A. So overall here is option number A. Perfect. I hope you love the session today. We'll be bringing more RCs. Thank you.